guys.
So this month's big video is Mom's living on $750 a month that we talked about. When she lived on $750 a month for her Social Security. So we are going to address all the questions that we got with that video because there was tons of them. Today's video is sponsored by our Dining on a Dime cookbooks right here. This is how she saved on her grocery bill. 40% off right now, guys. Our Dining on a Dime cookbooks. And then our planner, for those of you asking, we still have people asking, yes, our planner is at the printers. We are going next week to get it. And you can check that out. And all of our ebooks are 50% off right now for our Black Friday sale. All right. We got a ton of questions about how you lived on $750 a month. Did you actually live on $750 a month?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so she did.
Okay, just so they'll know.
No qualifications yet. Hold on. We're going to hold on to the end here.
Okay. Well, how do you know what I was going to say?
Okay, go ahead. Well, because I don't want you to give it away.
Oh, okay. I won't say then.
Here, whisper in my ear. Okay, let's see. Hold on.
Sorry, it's not polite to whisper.
Hello! We are starting all over again. This is Tara from Living on a Dime and my mom Jill, who lived on $750 a month. We're just going to edit out everything we just did. Okay. Hello, today we are talking about how Mom lived on $750 a month. And did you actually do that?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't do that forever. So you'll know that I know what I'm talking about. I only lived off that $750 for about maybe 10 years. Before that, I was living off about $100 or $550 before that. So that's even less. So I haven't for the past 50 years lived off of more than between 550 to, or about 40 years, $550 to $750 up until 2 years ago. So I really have lived on even less than the $750.
So, and yes, that includes everything, housing, property taxes. We're going to talk about all of those, food, all of it. So we're going to start with food. Pat says, there is no way you can eat on $20 a week while living on $750 a month.
You know what I spent at the grocery
store?
Are
you alive?
Yeah, I'm plenty alive, and I've got plenty of fat on me to show that.
Are you breathing?
Yes.
There. Okay, you're breathing.
No, I went last week. Okay, my last week's groceries that I bought $4 worth of groceries last week, and I probably won't even go to the grocery store this next week just because we're going to be out of town. But yeah, I don't even spend $20.
So
I say $20.
Buy for $20 a week for groceries that you eat.
Now I buy almost anything I want. I mean, I am kind of careful of it, and I'm getting more careful the higher in the past 6 months, maybe, since the prices have gone up, but my $20 hasn't changed. I've just stopped getting some things. I get hamburger. I get a lot of chicken and hamburger. I don't know. I have graham crackers every morning for breakfast. Like I said, they're gone up to $1.89, and one box lasts me for a week. So it's $1. So yeah, a box, and they're $1.89 a box. So that's 1 week. So that's $1.89 for my breakfast stuff alone, for a week. Or let's just say $2 to round it up even. And so that's breakfast. So then I've got $18 to do lunch and dinner, and I don't eat that much. The secret is I don't eat that much. I know, and I don't buy expensive things. I don't mind buying, off-brand fruit, canned fruit, stuff like that. I'm not really a food snob. I buy the cheapest bread I can find at Walmart. And I wouldn't even dream of buying anything special, organic, or any kind of gluten-free or sugar-free or whatever no OGFs, YGs in them or any of that stuff. I buy just basic cheapy food. And if you want to know about health, my doctor said she couldn't believe it because usually I could tell she was hesitating because she took my blood work and I have all the vitamins, everything that I need. And she said, usually people have something missing, and they have something missing because they're going with all these foods that are not just regular basic food groups, and they're not eating that, and they're eating, and I wasn't overweight for my age. That was all fine, and everything physically checked out. I'm fine. I'm 71 and I'm fine. So I must be eating something right. My mom's 94 and she eats probably worse than I do, not as healthy as I do even, but she's just tiny, tiny, tiny and perfectly healthy. So I don't know. I get frustrated because people keep saying, well, you can't eat healthy, or, I can't spend that much on groceries because I have to eat healthy. So I don't know what to say on that.
Well, you just said it.
Oh, I did.
Okay, let's see. Next question is, Donna says, I'm 74, living on a fixed income. Is there a video showing what you eat in a day, or is there already a video? I'm thinking you could give me some hints on eating less to save money. The question is for your mom, so maybe we should just have you film.
I should just keep eating. Show everybody what I eat for a week.
Okay, we will do that video.
But it's really simple. I like what was it, day before yesterday, I put a piece of toast in, and one piece of toast, and I spread it thinly with peanut butter. And that was it. And, then maybe like at 3, I'll go in and have a small apple. That's another thing. I make sure I buy my fruits small. I don't get big fruits because they usually go by the pound, and I can get like 2 or 3 small bananas for the same weight as 2 big ones. And that way I have 3 servings there, and I think of all those types of things.
Yep. Okay. Next is, what do you do for gifts and those types of things?
Oh,
we're working from the littlest ones up, for those of you guys wondering. So what do you do for gifts?
For gifts. Okay. That's really easy. I have never spent huge, even when I was working, and stuff like that. I've never, ever done huge amounts of money for gifts. But yet my kids usually got several gifts. What I do is I still do, and I've been doing this for, let's see, how many years have you guys been married? 30 years?
28.
28 years. So probably close to 40 years I've been doing this, and it's the same amount. I do $25, sometimes $35 for each child or grandchild. Now, and I've got to clarify that because that's a number I have. And I've been doing that for 40 years now. That price hasn't gone up. And everybody says things have changed since the past 40 years. That used to be long ago. I'm still doing the same price. Now, what I do is I start and I hit as many garage sales as I can during the summer.
You don't shop 2 weeks before Christmas.
No. Oh, no. And I start doing that then, and I have that fixed number in my mind, and I usually try to get 4 to 5 presents for the grandkids, give them each this. I work really hard at making sure they all get the same number, and they all have to get the same kind of size package. I don't want, when they were little, I wouldn't give one of them a little tiny package and then another one 2 big packages, and it'd be the same price. I tried to get the package size. What are you laughing at?
Mom stresses a lot about presents.
I do. I really do. Because I know in a child's mind, that can be hurtful if grandma got my brother 2 big packages and me 1 little tiny package. So I really work at this to do these gifts. But the thing is, like one year I went to a garage sale, and they had I forget if it was, I think it was Dave, was about 3 or 4 something, and she had a whole bunch of kids' toys, and it was a guitar. It was a beautiful little plastic guitar, and it would play tunes, music, and stuff like that. And she wanted $1 for it, so I picked that up because that was going to be Dave's bigger Christmas present. I went home and looked the silly thing up. It was a $35 guitar. I couldn't believe it. But I would get toys like that. So what I thought was, I didn't think, well, I still have another, $24 to spend on him. No, that was his main toy. So I don't always spend 25 or 30. I try to do the price, even though I pay less for it, I do it in that category. Did that come out right?
Yeah.
Understandable.
Mhm.
So that's how I do it. So basically, I usually end up spending $10 or less. And if they're under like 4 or 5 years old for grandkids, they don't understand an expensive toy. They have no idea. So when they're that young, I go very, very inexpensive and buy cool things, cool, cheap things. Like I could go to the dollar store and really get 10 items at the dollar store if I needed to for the little tiny kids. And so we as an adult think, well, we got to have all the money. If I spend only $1, I need to spend that whole rest of
That's
the $24.
why we don't believe in budgeting.
Yeah, you have to adjust.
You can have $100 set for Christmas presents in your budget, but if you get everything you need for $5 or $10, you don't spend the rest of the money. Use that to pay for heat. Use that to pay off your debts or whatever.
Yeah. So that's how I do Christmas. Michael, you might put the Christmas gift. There's a story that I think might help you guys with this a little bit that we have on the website. It's called The Gift. You can go to our website and just in the search, just type in The Gift. And Michael, I think, will put the link in for us too. But you've got to get out of this thinking too. There was a older couple that I know. They insisted upon paying about $500 for each one of their grandchildren and their children every single Christmas. And I mean, they worked like extra work.
I get that, Grandma.
Worked extra jobs and things like that to do that. Well, one year they were afraid one of them was going to, maybe lose their job or something. So they said, well, we're not going to buy any Christmas presents this year. We'll just not do any presents. And I get a little frustrated because it was people think in their mind, if I can't afford to pay $500 for a gift, I'm just not going to do anything at all. We'll just not do any gifts at all. It's like all or nothing. They want the extremes, and you don't have to do it that way. Their grandkids would have been tickled with like a small little $5 or $10 gift, just as something to show, it's a gift to show that you care. And so this story that I'm telling you about tells that story in there and explains that. So don't do the all or nothing. Don't think if I can't pay $500 for every gift, I'm just not going to get gifts at all. And be careful, because a lot of families will say, well, let's just do all homemade gifts. Now, I have nothing against homemade gifts. I love receiving homemade gifts, and I do homemade gifts myself. I've done crafting and sewing all my life, so I have nothing against this. But you've got to be very, very careful when you say, well, I'm going to do homemade gifts this year because it's cheaper. By the time you buy fabric to make stuff for things, so I've seen YouTubers that do knitting, and we're going to do homemade gifts this year, and they will buy, and they show what they bought. They will buy $25 to $35 skein of yarn to make one pair of socks. And it's a homemade gift, but it's very, very expensive. So be careful and think through. Just don't listen to what everybody else is saying. So everybody on the internet says homemade gifts are cheaper and better. So everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. Well, we'll just do homemade gifts because it's cheaper and better. You've got to think these things out and, price them. Don't be embarrassed. Get over being intimidated, embarrassed about, well, I can't spend $500. You should be giving those gifts not because of the price, but you should give them because you love that child and you find something to give them.
Yep. Okay, so for those of you just joining us, tomorrow is the last day of our Black Friday sale. 40% off our cookbooks, guys, our print books, volume 1, volume 2, and gluten-free, dairy-free. 40% off. It ends tomorrow is the end of our Christmas sale. And then Mom and I are going next week to pick up the planners. We got official word that they're going to be done next week. We're going to go pick them up next week. If you want a planner, we have just at half of them sold right now. So
can I add a little bit to the last thing?
To what?
To the how I spend money on gifts?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll move on. No, I know she's teasing me. Also, if you don't do the garage, I didn't give you away what you can do. Besides going to garage sales, you can go to thrift stores now.
Well, you got lots of free stuff too. Like if people were moving or something and they would give you
stuff. Oh, yeah. Things like
that.
But, check out the Dollar Tree. And after Christmas, it'll be perfect opportunity after Christmas. I would get my girls all kinds of cute gift sets for 90% off. So just like anything else you buy, keep your eyes open. You can look and find things on clearance, on sale, and that's how I do it.
Yep. Okay, so let's go to the car next. Did that $750 a month include a car payment and your car insurance and car maintenance?
Yes and no. I've not had a car payment for, I don't know, 50 years or more. I don't buy a car.
Your very first car you bought when you were like
that's the only car payment I ever had.
But you're 70 now and you haven't had a car payment.
So I've never had one since then. I won't buy a car unless I can pay cash for it. And I buy a very cheap car, an older car, and I don't worry about the insurance, about paying for the tags and those things, because I buy an older car, an inexpensive car. It doesn't cost me very much. I was shocked the first time someone told me how much they paid for their tags for a brand new car. I mean, I don't think I even paid that much for insurance for the whole year for my little, car, because it's an older car and all. I only get liability. I don't have to have all the stuff, and my tag is very, very cheap. Insurance is not very high.
Well, how are you going to pay for it then if your car gets crashed if you only have liability?
Well, what I do is I just would save up. And usually once I buy a car, I automatically start saving. I keep a savings. I always have a savings. And then if that happens, I'll have it.
Paying the extra amount. Well, now you have to check though, because for us in Colorado, it was only $5 more to have comprehension and collision
that would be better
over our liability when we lived in Colorado. And Colorado is notorious for car accidents because they don't believe in they believe red lights are a suggestion and not a law. And so it was only a little bit more per month for us to have comp and liability, or comp and collision with liability. But in Kansas, it was cheaper just to have liability.
It was almost twice as much.
So you need to check and see how much it is for your vehicle that you have. But driving an older vehicle,
that's the main thing.
It's going to save for the majority of it. Now, what did you do? You're driving an old car, Mom. It's going to break down every day.
No, my car's very rarely. As a matter of fact, the car I have now, I probably have more. I've paid more for it to have it fixed, and it's not even been that much. I've had it, I have 4 years or so?
Yeah.
At least 4 years. And I just had, for the first time in 4 years, I've had to pay to have the brakes fixed and the radiator fixed. But if you think about it, I don't consider brakes and the electrical and stuff like that, because even if you get a new car, most of the time the warranty doesn't cover those things. So you're going to have to pay that kind of a maintenance even on a new car. So in essence, all of it I had to do was pay for the radiator, and it's not that much. I very rarely have to take my cars in to have anything done. I'm careful how I drive. I don't slam on my brakes, I just do basic maintenance, make sure the oil's okay and that type of thing, keep the upkeep on it, and I drive it carefully. One of the reasons I don't like driving in the snow, and I just drove over in snow-packed roads today to get here, and I don't normally do that because the chances of me getting in an accident are better driving in that situation. So there's no need for me normally to drive in that. So just stay at home. You don't have to go to the store to get such and such. Probably you could wait a week or so till the snow clears up. Just logical things like that.
And someone commented that, arrange your life so that you don't have to have a car. There are a lot of people now in the cities and states that we have lived in, a car's pretty much a necessity, but there are a lot of places back east, Pennsylvania, New York, those kinds of places you can walk or take a bus. The majority of the places you go. How often do you drive a car? If you only drive a car once or twice a month, take an Uber, Lyft, taxi, bus, and it's probably cheaper than owning a car.
Well, here where we live now, you actually, if you're on Social Security, you can call the Senior Citizen Center and they have a small van bus thing that they'll come and pick you up and take you to every spot that you, for nothing. You can donate a couple of dollars if you want, I think it is, or donate a little bit if you want to, but they'll just take you for basically nothing to do all your shopping stuff, you know.
Yep.
So.
All right. Let's talk about utilities, Mom. How did you pay for utilities, heat and electricity and gas when you were living on $750 a month Social Security?
Well,
how did you pay for it?
Well, the thing is, I'm so careful. Like this summer, I only had my air conditioner on twice. I think it was twice or 3 times at the most. I think it was twice. And then I just had it on for 2 hours on those 2 days. So otherwise I use a fan. And I didn't even really use a fan this year now that I think about it.
Sherry says she turned the heat on in the morning for 30 minutes and then she went to bed. Let's see, hold on. Her AC on in the morning, cooled it down, then just used ceiling fans. She did the same thing with the heat, and her electric was $35 a month in the summer.
That's basically what I do. I don't turn it on unless it gets really, really hot and I need it. I don't just, everybody says, what do you set your temperature at? I don't set my temperature at anything. If it's freezing cold when I get up in the morning, I will kick it on for maybe an hour and it takes the chill off the air, and I'll just leave it off then till maybe 2 or 3 in the afternoon. If it starts feeling cold again, I'll kick it on for another hour and then I turn it off. And then sometimes right before I go to bed, now we're talking, when I say take the chill off, it was like 9 degrees, I think this morning. Well, it was 9 degrees yesterday when I was out shoveling the snow. So it's not really warm here this week, but that's the way I went. Even when I left now, I had my temperature on my overnight that I kicked it on for overnight for just a little bit. And I didn't even turn it up or anything this morning. I didn't even have my temperature turned up. So I don't just keep it going constantly. I just kick it on till it gets the chill off or cools it down. And people say, well, I know so many people go to work or they're going to be gone all day and they leave that, turned up or down, whichever season
it is, want to come home to
because they don't want to come to cold or hot a house. You can't do that and save money. You have got to just turn it off. Well, it takes it so long. Do you know it doesn't even take
20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes.
15 minutes for a house to start cooling down or warming up. So that's kind of an excuse. You've got to stop making these excuses. You've just got to rethink how you do stuff.
But turning your heat off when it's below 40 degrees can freeze your pipes. Then you have a real problem. Just lower the heat. Don't shut it off.
No, because the thing is, you don't have to have it. It's called vacation mode, I think is what it is. It's like 50, 55. That's all the higher you need it on. And if I have mine doesn't ever go below 50 or 55, but the heat just the house stays to 50, 55 longer than you would think doing it this way. Plus, another thing that people don't realize, that might be more crucial for at night to maybe have it a little bit warmer. But during the day, if you're at home during the day, you're turning those water pipes on and off and on and off. And this is what I learned was that, of course, mine wasn't from having the temperature down. This was a totally different situation. But in the winter, when I was gone out of town, that's the only time I did leave my heat on. And that's when my pipes froze.
Yeah, but you didn't have it on very high. So
I had it at 55.
Yeah.
So, and my pipes froze, but it wasn't because of that. It was because of the water department problem that they did something. But what happened was I wasn't turning water on and off. I was gone out of town and the water wasn't getting used. So when you're turning water on and off, washing dishes, washing your face, taking a shower, water's running through those pipes and it doesn't freeze up even in, cold like we've been having here. So, don't use that as an excuse to keep your temperature up high all the time. That's one more excuse
But Joan says, freezing to death with no heat. What an awful way to live.
Oh, you don't even notice it. You get used to it. I don't even think about it.
But Joan says you're going to freeze to death.
I'm going to freeze to death. Oh,
you're slowly dying, Mother.
I'm slowly dying. What was funny was, okay, I got to tell you what happened last night. I had turned the heat off, and I wasn't cold at all because I happened to have leggings on, and I'd put jeans on because that's when I'd gone out to shovel the snow and everything. And I had about 3 layers. You know, I had a long sleeve t-shirt, I had a flannel shirt, and then I had another fleece thing on top of that, 2 pairs of socks and my slippers on. So I was pretty toasty and I wasn't thinking about it. And I was just watching some stuff on YouTube and laying there. And all of a sudden, I'd been laying there for quite a while on the couch. And all of a sudden I thought, I think I'm getting a little bit cold. And then I started getting kind of sleepy. It was getting later in the evening. I was getting sleepy and I started laughing. I thought, I need to call Tara and tell her, I'm starting to get so sleepy. I can hardly stay awake. Do you think I'm freezing to death? Because it was starting to get a little bit cold. I thought, is this just the beginnings of me falling asleep because I'm freezing to death? But no, I don't get myself, I don't even feel that uncomfortable usually, you know.
Yeshua Christ driven and inspired with Kathy, who by her title we would assume is a Christian, says, they are not being transparent. I don't believe a word she says when it comes to her utilities, and notice that she never gives an amount of what she's paying out. So so-called monthly benefit of only $750 a month. So she's calling you a liar.
Is that what she's doing?
That's what she's doing.
I can tell you exactly.
So how much were your utilities, Mother?
Okay, my utilities usually on there's 6 months, like when you not, like in the winter, I don't use as much electricity. I use more gas. And so my electric bill is higher. And it was $32 was my gas bill for last month.
In December of 2022 with the high prices.
Yeah. And my electric bill runs about $52. My trash, water, sewer, all that. What else goes with that? Anything else?
Trash, water, sewer. You mean for gas?
City. Yeah, for the city. No, for water.
Trash, water, and sewer. Yeah.
Trash, water, and sewer is, I think it's 55, somewhere around there. But the thing is, what's so funny is, like, I called on the water for question something, and the guy said, you're not even using the base amount yet. You're not using the base amount. So he said, you got another like 2,000 or something gallons that I could use of water, and it still wouldn't raise my water price. So yeah, I figure usually less for every utility I do. Summer and winter is about $150
a month.
A month
for electric, gas, water, sewer.
Yeah, and trash.
And trash.
So, and it just depends on where I'm living. That's why I don't give exact prices, because in Wichita, it was pretty close to the same. It was like the electric was a little higher than it is here in the summer. But at the same time, you know, other things are a little bit higher here than it was in Wichita. So that's why I never give it exact, but that's about 150 is about what I do. So there's my exact, I can even bring my bills and show you if you need me to.
And just for the record, yes, we have offered to pay for her heat.
Oh yeah, the kids get so mad at me.
She refuses to turn it up. This is a pet peeve of mine.
They get so mad at me.
Especially water in the yard.
Because I don't accept money from them yet. I keep saying, well, you can pay me.
She's getting book royalties. But before we were giving book royalties, we offered to pay for her heat and all of her utilities, and she refused. So don't come coming back on me saying, why aren't you helping your mother? I have tried to help my mother. My mother refuses to get help.
Yeah, and up till I moved here, what they would do is they put it in a savings for if I need a nursing home of some sort, the book royalties and stuff. So I just really do live off of, you know, basically what. Now, I do get birthday presents and Christmas presents and stuff like that with a little bit of money, but that's not my regular income.
I don't give you money for Christmas.
No,
and
Grandma
everything.
gives me just
Oh,
for
well,
instead of
yeah.
a present, she gives me a
Yeah.
little, but it's not anything outrageous. It's like $35 once in a while. So
Yes. All right. Kelly says, do you know you said you can live on that much money a month right now? How can you live on that with everything tripling? So you're so full of it. Everything's so expensive. There's no way you can live on that. And I'm a family of 4 and still struggling. That's from Kelly. You got any response to that one, Mother?
No, it's just that I think these people, when they say things like this, they're justifying in their own minds, making excuses in their own minds that why they aren't doing, as well. Maybe
they're justifying
the
spending
fact-
money they don't have
Yeah.
because they don't want to make the changes necessary to live
Yeah.
within their means or get a better paying job.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's a little bit of, I don't want to call it jealousy, but it is kind of a jealousy of not having the ability to do that. And so when people react and say things in that tone of voice, I don't mind people asking nice questions, but when they're talking like that, there's a little bit of envy there. Well, that they can't do it as like what I'm doing. And the thing is, it's not just me.
You don't want to.
Yeah, it's just that you don't want to. You don't want to hear what I'm saying. It's like grating on your nerves, and you don't like that. But it's not just me.
Because they can't get what they want.
Yeah.
They're just acting like a 2-year-old, basically.
Yeah. But, it's not just me. I bet you we have a lot of viewers that can pop on here that live off of that amount
actually, I'm going to read those in a moment.
Yeah, that easily. It's just not me. I know a lot of people. We have tons of viewers that live the same way. It's just a matter of your mindset, whether you want to do it or not, whether you want to give up anything, change your lifestyle. I have actually have people say, well, I don't care. If I could save money, I'm not going to allow myself to be uncomfortable like that. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And so they get angry when people like I or us talk, and say that.
All right, before we get to the big one, how do you pay for your house and rent? Our Dining on a Dime cookbooks, guys, 40% off our print books until tomorrow. We only have 24 hours left, guys. Well, I guess 36 hours left. And they are 40% off. We only do that twice a year, or unless we're moving or something, but 40% off for all of our print books, volume 1, volume 2, and our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. Everybody wants to know these two go together, but they have totally different recipes. If you have to pick one, I would start with the volume 1 and then get volume 2 later if you need to. Also, next week, Mom and I are going to pick up the planners. The printer is going to have them done. We have sold about half of them. So if you want one, please go grab that. It's not on sale at the moment. All right. This is the big question that we always get when Mom talks about living on $750 a month Social Security. So, Painted Lady says, so if you own your own home, who pays for your property taxes, homeowners insurance, car insurance? We live in Colorado and all those extras cost us around $8,000 per year. Linda says, what about property taxes? Ready, Willing, and Able says, please mention this information. It is also directly affected by where you live. Jan says, don't forget property taxes, insurance, and HOA might increase every year. Glenda says, with all due respect, that's another one we're going to do. So what do you do with property tax? Mom, if you don't have a mortgage, how are you going to pay your property taxes and insurance? How is that going to work?
Okay. Well, let me start out. This isn't even the question at this point. If I didn't have my house paid off, I know of people like, I have a grandson that pays, he started out with $400. I think maybe it's gone up to $425 or something, $450 for a small apartment.
In Wichita, Kansas.
In Wichita, Kansas. He was working for minimum wage and he was just doing fine, paying for his home, for the apartment, the utilities, because part of the utilities was in in the rent, and that type of thing.
And it's nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy, but it's nice. It's not, awful. It's a nice little place. And so he does fine. And I know other people that do fine when they have to pay that. Now, I worked for years and killed myself when I wasn't on Social Security to make sure I had my home paid off. Everybody says, well, do you have a 401k? Do you have this? No, I have my home paid off. And now I'm sitting pretty good because I do have my home paid off, and others, had different savings and stuff, and they've lost it for one reason or another. And now they're stuck with a house payment, a huge house payment, property tax, all this. Yes, I do have to pay property taxes,
and insurance.
But the thing is, you may have to move. I have never, ever would own a home where there's an HOA.
I would never own a home in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania.
No, I wouldn't do that because I know I can't pay an HOA. Even a condo, people say, why don't you buy a condominium? I won't, because the rent on a condominium for the maintenance they do on the place is like an HOA, and that would be like having rent every month. And I don't do that. So I don't do that. And then the property taxes, I lived in Kansas for years. And if you're over the age, is it 65?
Or on disability.
Or on disability, you don't have to pay. You just have to pay a very small amount or none at all for property taxes. So I wasn't crazy about living in Kansas, but I lived there for years. I wanted to move to Colorado to be near Tara, and I couldn't do it. How many years did I try? You were there 10 years. I was wanting to move there, but I could not get the money saved up or for me to pay property taxes to move there, or even to pay for a house. So it's hard for me to have too much sympathy for people who say, well, where I live, the property taxes are so high, or I can't afford a property taxes, or I can't move. I've moved
how do you move when
times.
you live on $750 a month?
I pack what I can in the car and I move. It's not
sell everything.
Yeah, it's just that's what you do.
I knew when you get to the new place at thrift stores and garage sales and free
or
cycle.
Make do without until you can do it. I lived in Idaho. It's not because I didn't have the money. I just couldn't get my stuff. But 6 months, I had a mattress on the floor and a rack that I hung my clothes on.
Mike and I did the same thing when we moved to Texas. We had a $50 mattress on the floor, and we had a $5 recliner, and that was it. And another freebie chair. And that was all the furniture we had.
Yeah. And see, what happens is most people, well, I'm not going to move. My family's here. I'm not going to move. I've moved 35 times in my life. That's a lot. And it's not been fun all the time. And it's not been something I necessarily wanted to do. I had to live in Idaho for 2 years longer past the kids moving back to Kansas. All my kids and grandkids were in Kansas. I was totally by myself in Idaho. And I was there for 2 years trying to sell my house and Tara's house. It wasn't fun, but you do what you have to do when you don't have the money. See, people now, they're of the mindset that they're supposed to have everything, and they don't want to give up anything or do without anything or sacrifice anything to get out of debt or to not, to be careful with their money. That's the mindset. I'm going to stay right here where I'm at, and I want people to come up with ideas of how I'm going to just stay here and not be uncomfortable or is anybody left watching? Have we totally made them mad?
But the reality is we get people all the time. I live in New Jersey, and my property taxes are $25,000 a year. Well, that's your choice. First of all, you guys have voted Democrat governors and politicians who are known for raising taxes in your state. That is a choice you made. You are choosing to still live there. That is a choice that you make. You are choosing to pay $25,000 a year to live in New Jersey instead of paying $2,000 a year to live in Kansas. It's a choice. And you can say that, for one excuse or another, but really 95% of the people, they're not taking care of aging parents or something where they can't move, or they're so disabled that they can't function at all. That's the very minority of the population. And so it really is a choice where you choose to live.
Yeah. And see, now I'm in Wyoming with close to Tara and Mike. And the only reason I could do that was my husband passed away 2 years ago, and I started getting widow's benefits now. So if I wasn't getting that, the chances are pretty good I probably wouldn't be living here with them. But I got that little bit extra, but I had to wait for years before I could move close to where they lived. So,
yep. All right, we got this question on when you live on $750 a month, about your utilities being so low because you keep your air conditioning around 78 or 80 and your heat around 55 or 60, and just turn it on and off when it gets really cold or really hot. And Jennifer says, I love your mom. She's so pretty and pleasant, but she should not be living in a cold house.
I don't. I turn it on if I feel cold, and it keeps the house warm. I mean, I don't know. I use an electric blanket. As a matter of fact, for a few nights, I've been so hot, I've been throwing the covers off, not being able to sleep because I have use an electric blanket. And even that I don't leave on all night. I just warm up the bed and get in the bed. So one thing, too, people don't understand. I've been living this way for, since before Tara was born, or about the time Tara was born. And so that's what, you're 50 years, aren't you? 50 years. And what happens is your body tends to get used to that. You really feel
you get acclimated.
That's the word I need. And so, like, I would go to my doctor's office and they'd have it set at 72.
I freeze every time I go.
Well, I was in the winter. I'm talking about in the winter. They'll have it up to 72.
In the summer, oh my God.
And I'm just ready to croak. I'm so hot going to that doctor's office. And then the opposite, in the summer, I go into places with the air conditioning and I almost get sick. It's so cold there. And so what happens is my body is very well adjusted to the cooler temperatures. Now, you can't just all of a sudden go from one extreme to the other. You have to take your time turning your thermostat down, and getting used to the colder stuff, because that's just what happens. I'm really used to it. So people think I'm freezing to death, and I'm not going to be uncomfortable. I don't need to be uncomfortable now. Like I said, I get the widow's benefits now of my husband. So
you're living on about $1,800 a month now.
Yeah, I feel like I'm wealthy now at this point, and I feel like I'm really good. And thing too that frustrates me a little bit is when people have two people on Social Security and they say they can hardly make it, and I'm one person. And before I got my husband's benefits, it was frustrating because they said, well, we have two people, so it's way, way harder. It's not that much. If you think about it, you have one house, the two of you are living in, and you're heating the one house. I have one house I have to heat. And you're having one house that, you're having to cool down. You're paying insurance on one house. That type of thing, or property taxes on one house, with two people helping pay for it. I'm only one person. So, if I can do it by myself, if there's two of you, surely you could do something.
Gabrielle says, so how much is rent, food, other necessities like toiletries, cleaning products, etc., electric bill, cables / internet, transportation, phone, clothes, entertainment? Something doesn't add up, mother. How do you live on $750 a month Social Security? None of those things add up.
I basically buy no toiletries. It's not
so. Mom doesn't buy any toiletries. She doesn't buy any cleaning products. She doesn't have a fancy phone. She doesn't buy a lot of clothes, and there's no entertainment. So 80% of that stuff right there, she doesn't even do. And that's where the problem is. You think you have to be entertained. You think you have to buy new clothes. So what do you do for clothes, Mom?
Actually, probably up until I moved here. Yeah, up until I moved here, 80% or more of my clothes were just hand-me-downs. People just gave me. And I didn't use that many. I don't have, I don't need to go out and shopping, buying new clothes. I could go 5 years and not buy any new clothes. Okay, this is getting real personal, but my panties last me for like 10 to 15 years.
We really don't need to know that much.
But that's the reality. People think they need to have, first of all, drawers full of panties.
So we have Mike's reaction in the background here. We will show Mike's reaction in the background. It is
hearing about his mother-in-law's panties. But you know what I do? I don't put my panties and stuff in the dryer.
She doesn't put anything in the
dryer. I don't put any clothes in the dryer, so my clothes do not wear out. I've had the same, I probably have had, I'm 71 years old, and in 50 years, I've probably had 3 winter coats, new winter coats. Now, I've been giving a couple other ones that I don't wear them very often, but I have them.
Yeah. So what do you do? How do you pay for entertainment living on $750 a month?
Oh, I just talked to my children on the phone. That's enough entertainment to keep me busy for weeks. I'm not joking. When I was in Kansas, it's not so bad now. When I was in Kansas, I started timing it. I would spend 6 to 8 hours on the phone, and I never called anybody. It was just, I would get a lot of calls from people and stuff. I don't need to be entertained. I don't know. I just...
She doesn't go to the movies. She doesn't go out to eat.
I don't go out to eat. I don't
go on vacation.
The most I do for anything other than family stuff was I did go to a quilt bee, but that didn't cost me anything. We didn't pay we didn't have dues or fees. She
goes to the library to get books to read.
I get all my
gets free books from
I
the
read
library.
a lot. That's my biggest entertainment.
She does have cable. She does pay for cable, but that's her entertainment, is just paying for cable.
Yeah, although I'm about ready just to get rid of that now. And then, like even with, I sew a lot. I do quilting and do all that. But I so rarely buy fabric. I maybe have spent $5 last year on fabric, if that much. I don't even think I did that much because we don't have a fabric store here. So, I got all my fabric free. People just get rid of it. They know I sew and they just bring me fabric.
All right. How do you pay for toiletries and cleaning products living on $750 a month? Social Security, Mom.
Okay. Well, let's
start with toiletries first.
Toiletries. I just asked for them for Christmas.
Garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores all have toiletries for super cheap.
Yeah, but usually I just
free a lot with rebates.
My skin cleanser, my skin cream that I use, Tara would get it for me for Christmas, or bath body wash. She gets it for me for Christmas, a bottle of it. It's really amazing. Okay. I don't know how I should say this, but I've always trusted that God would take care of me. I've always tithed. I don't know if this is okay for me to go ahead. And I am blessed. God bless. I think when you trust God, totally trust him, he can bless you in the most amazing ways. It's like, I feel like the Israelites when they were wandering in the desert and everything, when Moses took them out of Egypt, it says their clothes never wore out. Their shoes never wore out, that God provided for them. And I feel like that sometimes. I can get a thing of body wash. And that's another thing about toiletries. People spend huge amounts on this stuff. Even though I don't buy it myself, one like a bottle of body wash, that will last me 2 years, easy 2 years. On one bottle of body wash. Most people don't do that. I don't use shampoo anymore. I just use baking soda. So I don't have to have shampoo or conditioner. I don't need any hair products at all because I use the baking soda, which is nothing for cheapness. I have that for baking. But then the other thing, when I did years and years ago, when I did use shampoo, I would take and only shampoo my hair one time. Everybody just does it twice. Why? Because the bottle says. Try it. You don't wash your hands twice when you go there and soap your hands up, rinse them. You don't soap them up and rinse them again. Why do you do your hair that way? Plus, I watch people use these toiletries. They squeeze a handful of shampoo. They think they need their whole palm filled with shampoo. I use just a little tiny bit.
Well, and here's a trick for that. I got a baby wash bottle, and I use baby wash as my face wash. And then when it was gone from the face wash, I just put my shampoo in there, and I just put 1 or 2 squirts.
Yeah. So you're using
you're not
too
just
much.
dumping.
Yeah. The amount of money, you shouldn't be spending any money on toiletries. I know a woman, she was spending $100 a month on makeup and toiletries. My makeup, part of why I was saying that God provides things was I went about 3 years ago. I had a viewer send me some Mary Kay makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's what I'd used for years. And I just had left over from when I had sold Mary Kay. And everybody said, oh, you got to change it out every 6 months or it's going to do a number on your face. I know all about the ins and outs of makeup. I was trained on it. I know whether it gets bad or whatever. And everybody panics over that and they throw their makeup out every 6 months. You don't have to do that. The only time is if something, you put it on your face and all of a sudden your face maybe looks like it's breaking out slightly and a little rash or something, then you maybe change it out. But it's been at least 3 years ago. I got this Mary Kay makeup and I'm careful with it. I use a small amount and it just keeps lasting me.
What do you do for cleaning products?
Well, this is another thing, how God provides. In Wichita, we had a recycling center.
Hazardous waste recycling center.
Yeah. And you could go there and I got all my cleaning products, all my paint. I never paid for one speck of paint, spray paint, fertilizers, everything.
Bug killers.
I got everything there for free.
Yep, all cleaning products. But here's the other thing on cleaning products. Now, she's talking about getting it free at the Hazardous Waste Center. But Mom and I do not use a lot of cleaning products.
It's the same way.
Like I use rubbing alcohol and vinegar to clean my windows. I do use bleach. Mom uses bleach. She uses Dow foaming cleaner and an SOS pad for scrubbing pans. What other cleaners? We don't buy a special toilet cleaner.
Well, we
don't buy a special counter cleaner.
They show cleaning their bathroom and they have like 5 different bottles of stuff. One to clean their mirror. I never use anything on my mirrors except I have a diaper cloth that I dry off my faucet after I've cleaned it, and I just wipe them on my mirror. I don't even use window cleaner or anything on my mirrors. And so, but they use 5 different products. They have one for cleaning the mirror, one for cleaning, even in their kitchen. They have a special thing to wash the counters down, another one for the stove,
soap and
another
water
one for the sink.
Most of the kitchen.
I use soap and water, hot soapy water if it's good enough to wash my dishes in, I'm thinking it's good enough to clean my counter. The only time, I better say this or we'll get comments, the only time I might do something a little harsher or a little more, not harsher, but more to disinfect is if I have raw chicken or raw meat on the counter, I will use a little Clorox in my dishwater and then wipe things down.
Yep.
So
that's what she does for toiletries and cleaning products. And for those of you wondering, Mom is not asking my permission to share this stuff. I have it in a specific order for a reason why she's asking. Just so you know, I'm not telling her what to say.
No, she's not. We're having to do this, and
I have a reason why I'm doing it in a specific order. So
for the YouTube channel, so that's all I'm asking.
So,
no, she doesn't.
Clear that up.
Yeah, no,
I'm not censoring her.
No, she's not for any at all.
Okay, let's see.
You would be dead meat if you ever tried to do that.
Diva says, I live off of $841 a month and I raise an almost 20-year-old on it. Long story there. It's so hard. I'm physically disabled and she has mental health issues and hasn't left our apartment since the summer 2018. I have $2 in Florida and they do very well for themselves. They know about my financial struggles, but they will not help. I throw hints here and there, but they would rather be around other rich family and friends. I just wish I had their support you have for your mother. Well, okay, so it's kind of hard to answer this question or comment because we don't know the whole situation. We don't know what your relationship is with your kids. Mm-hmm. We don't know. We have seen both sides of everything. And are you doing something that's alienating your kids? I know you're living like this, but, have your kids offered for something and you said no, like with utilities? Or, are there other things that they have problems with, in your relationship there? Have you just flat out asked and said, I cannot afford the rent. Can you please help me with the rent? And have they just flat out told you no? Most kids are more than happy to help their parents out if they have a good relationship with their parents. So I'm thinking from the way this is sounding, this is a relationship issue that's going on here.
Yeah, not a money problem. It is a relationship. And the thing is, sometimes you have to, I don't know how to say this tactfully, but sometimes we reap the consequences. And I don't know, we don't know anything. We don't know your situation. But I have seen situations where kids have been raised in an atmosphere where they've had plenty of money for, a certain period of time, or been given a lot of things growing up. And they grow up with the attitude that I deserve this, I want to be around the richer people, and that type of thing. They have this snobbish, I don't know how else to call it, kind of a snobbish attitude, especially towards money, or a deserving attitude towards money and stuff like that. But part of that was the way they were kind of raised. Now, this may not be the situation, but I've seen that happen sometimes, so that when they get older, then the parents wonder, what did I do wrong? Well, maybe that's what happens. But Tara's right. This is a relationship. You need to talk. If you really want to fix this, you need to talk with those daughters, and try to fix things in the relationship, and then try to figure out the money. Mm-hmm. Don't be resentful, and don't be angry that they're not giving you. That can come across to kids. They can sense that, and that'll just make matters worse. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, yep.
All right. So commercial break real quick, guys. This is our last day, 36 hours left of our Dining on a Dime, 40% off our print books for Christmas sale. Oops, we'll put gluten-free's backwards. There you go. Volume 1, Volume 2, 40% off right now, guys. We have had tons of comments of people, how much they're loving it. We're going to get to those in just a minute. And our planners, guys, our yearly undated planner is going to be done at the printer this week, and we're headed down there this week to go pick them up. So grab those also. All right, next question. Dragon Link says, being debt-free is almost impossible in this economy. I'm moving on to the next video. I added that little part because they put something in there I can't read. But so, is being debt-free in this economy impossible, Mother?
Well, I want our viewers to pop on here. They can answer.
So Teresa says, since I've been watching YouTube videos like yours, I have been regularly switching my utilities, spending less on clothes, etc., and more importantly, started to overpay my mortgage. As a result, I'm 44 and will pay off my house in 3 years. So by 47, we'll have a house and 2 cars paid for in full. Christine says, I love your videos. I love to live very simply. I live in a studio apartment with a yard for $500 a month rent. I am debt-free, no credit cards, and I live on my disability. It can be done. So can it be done, Mother?
Yes. And see, jump on there and make a comment. You guys are our best advertisement because
Mike, I need a paper towel.
She needs a bath towel. She just dumped water all over.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But, they're the best examples. They've all done it. Let's show that. This is what Mike brought her.
I'm not totally sure which one she really was.
I'm good. Thank you.
But they're the best examples. You know, I feel sorry for people when they say things like that it's impossible, that you can't do. Will you listen to the words they're using?
It's just a victim mentality, and they don't want to actually fix
They don't
their
want to,
situation.
they want to make more excuses, and it's more comfortable for them to sit there and feel sorry for themselves than to actually get up, start thinking. I mean, go through the list of stuff we have, not only for this video, but all over our website, our YouTube channel, of tips and ideas. Just make a list. What can I start doing? Even if you can only do one or two things, start doing that. You know, why are you getting hung up with, oh, I just don't want to freeze to death, or, you know, I can't be uncomfortable with the heat? Well, then find something else. You know, can you cut back on your portion sizes that you're eating? Can you cut back on your toiletries somehow? Pick one thing. And you know what? You pick that one thing that you think you can do, and you do it for, say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month. You will be so excited at how much you save for that one thing, that then you'll think, well, maybe I'll try one more thing. You'll get so encouraged. That's what our viewers do all the time. They'll start out really easy, maybe trying to pay off a credit card, maybe trying to get their car paid off. They get so excited at the stress-freeness that they have, the lifting of their spirits that they feel when they do this, that they want to do another credit card. They want to then start on their house. And that's what it is. This is all money. All this type of money stuff is all based in your emotions and your mental attitude.
Whether you're going to be a victim or you're not.
Exactly. And that's what and you can tell the different comments that Tara's been reading, the ones that want to be the victim and the ones that really are trying and doing things.
Yeah. All right, Mom. We mentioned in one of your videos that we mentioned in one of our videos that you pay $600 a month for your Medicare supplement. Is that true?
Yeah, I do now, since I moved to Wyoming.
So Mom does that because she chooses not to have any deductibles and she doesn't want to pay any deductibles for anything. So she doesn't want to have to pay for a deductible to go to the doctor. She doesn't want to have to pay a deductible if she gets hospitalized, and she doesn't want to have to pay for her prescriptions. So in order for her not to do that, the Medicare supplement that she has is $600 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have the money now that I can do it, since I have my widow's benefits. So I chose to do
so that's her choice.
Mm-hmm.
So most of them are not that high. She just chooses to have the very highest one because she doesn't want to have any deductibles or anything like that. So, all right. Julie says she made the homemade granola in volume 1. It was way tastier and cheaper than Quaker. I'm telling you, you can make it for like 50 cents, and Quaker's like probably $5 $6 a box now, and you get 3 times the amount.
Mm-hmm.
And it is way tastier.
It is one of our most popular recipes.
Yep. Barbara says, Medicare takes out a good chunk of Social Security towards the premium each month before I even receive what's left of my Social Security money. So after rent's paid, I have $600. Yes. But I mean, it's doable.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. She lives with her daughter, she said. So she's able to do that.
And, you know, you may have to do things like that. You may have to adjust, you know, and figure out what would work for your situation.
But she says, I am scared about all these prices. 2023 is going to be scary. What do you say about that?
Oh, I don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it till it gets here.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it at all, because like I said, I've been through, I don't know how many recessions. I didn't even know they happened. See, if you have control of your money, you're debt free. That's the main thing. People don't understand. Once you get debt free, except in like maybe a few dire situations, like horrible medical situations or natural disasters, just on a daily basis, which most of us, you know, a good portion of us don't have those types of things all the time. You can, if you got all your debt gone and you have no debt, you can find a way to live off very little and to pay for things. And if you have your money under control and you know how to control your money, what's happening is you're being controlled by your money. You're not
You're
controlling
letting
your
your
money.
money control you.
Yeah. And so that's scary when you have something else controlling you. You don't know what it's going to do to you from one moment to the next. What's going to happen in your life from one moment of the next, because that's controlling you and you have no power over it, or you feel like you don't have any power over it. That's why you feel like a victim. And it doesn't have to be that way. You get out of that debt, and then you don't have to be afraid of what the prices are going to be next year. Because if you control that money, you'll have enough, at least food. I have got now, because I've got control of my money and things, I have now got a pantry, enough food that would, for a year and a half, I at least won't have to worry about food, and that's going to be okay. If something happens, I can't pay my property taxes. Well, Tara's got an empty apartment that I can move into. And so there's going to be things that you can, do. You may not have a child that you can move in with, but you may have a friend that you guys could move in together. There's always going to be something. If you don't have the debt, it's the debt that you won't be able to deal with. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we push it so much to get rid of it.
Candy from, I think it was
Holly.
Are you from
Holly? Our Candy from Holly. Hi, Candy.
We know where Holly is.
We know for sure where
Actually,
Holly is.
we have the Holly Sugar Factory here in Sheridan, and I did not know it was named after Holly, Colorado.
Yeah.
There you go. Mm-hmm. It's for sale. I thought about buying it.
Just for sentimental reasons?
No, for a soap company. I
thought
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Candy wants to know, what do you drink for breakfast?
Oh, I drink coffee. I have about a half a cup of coffee for breakfast because I dunk my graham crackers in it. Yep. So
Dana wants to know, do you have cable or Roku for your cable?
I have cable, but I'll be honest, since I moved here,
it's not that great.
Yeah, I had cable before in Kansas, but since I moved here, I think I'll probably get the only reason I'm kind of holding on to the cable is I have a package. My phone and my internet and my cable are all worked in together, and I get a pretty good deal for the three of them together. If I remove the cable, then my internet and my phone will go up a little bit, so it won't be, I won't be saving a whole lot. So that's the only reason I'm kind of keeping the cable now.
Dana Marie wants to know, how do you hang laundry on the line in the winter?
It's brisk. What was it? Day before yesterday.
So when it's above freezing, she hangs it outside. When it's below freezing.
Yeah, it was 34 the other day, and I was hanging out the big stuff. But usually there's a day. There's most places there's winter days where it's above 35 that you can, and I just do my lawn, make sure I do my sheets and that on those days. Now the other times, then I just take and put them on hangers and hang them like on the shower rod, or I hang them. I have a special stand thing that you can put hangers on, and I use a rack.
Yep. Mike and I hung our clothes in the winter just on racks and on hangers in the house.
Yeah, I had two babies in cloth diapers.
I did too.
And baby clothes with baby spit up and all of that, and I didn't have a dryer. And
we didn't either.
Yep. I lived in Kansas in the winter, and it was cold. So
Sharon wants to know, did Jill have extra food for emergencies?
Yes.
How much food do you have, and why do you have extra food for emergencies?
Well, I keep extra food in there just because I've had so many things happen in my life. There have been times like the past just few weeks when I fell and broke my tailbone, I couldn't drive to the grocery store. And my car, I had it in the shop to be worked on. So I went almost a whole month with no car or not being able to drive. And I didn't have to worry about it because I had enough stuff in the house. I mean, Tara and Mike, of course, would have, if I needed it. But, if I hadn't had them, I would have been just fine. We had flooding one time in Kansas. And in the Kansas, when it snows, the roads do not clear up for a long time. And I don't want to drive in that. So I keep it for things like that. I also used to get very sick, not so bad now, but I get really sick with my chronic fatigue. I couldn't get up to go to the grocery store if you paid me. My husband, one time, we paid all of our bills most of our bills on Friday, and we had zero money left. You didn't have a credit card back then at all. And Monday he came home at noon from work, and he said, I got laid off today. They closed down his whole department in the company he was working at. And he said, I got laid off. Here we are, no money and almost no groceries. And from that point on, I thought, as soon as I got any money to stock up a little bit on groceries, I started doing it.
So how do you pay for a stockpile?
Oh, just a little bit at a time. I mean, I went.
Instead of buying 1 can of fruit cocktail, you buy 2. Instead of buying 1 can of green beans, you buy 2. You can spend $5 a week and easily stock up.
See, I said I paid $4 worth of groceries this past week. Well, one of the things I got was a package of cheese. Now, I've got a lot of cheese in the refrigerator already, but as long as it's on sale, I'm going to buy me the 1 package. And I just keep adding to it, or canned goods or something.
Joy says, I've stopped buying paper towels and I cut up lots of old t-shirts I was going to trash, and now those are my paper towels. I love that tip from us that we do. Mom and I, just a little thing here, I use maybe a roll of paper towels a year, maybe 6 months, or maybe every year and a half now. I mean, I've had the same roll of paper towels since we moved in 18 months ago.
I had a half
Seriously.
a roll. Yeah, I had a half a roll.
And so we just don't use paper towels. We use wash rags, we use hand towels, and we use cut up rags. But she says, because it is such an easy way, she saves $300 plus a year.
Oh,
did you take
my
your heart medicine?
Goodness.
I cannot imagine spending $300 on paper towels to just throw away.
Oh, that is one of the best comments. Wow.
That's great.
That is
I just can't imagine spending that though.
Well, see, I never have been haven't been able to understand why people do buy paper towels when most people.
Well, how do you use rags, Mom?
Well, it's not rocket science, guys. You just cut them and you just use it. And I don't wash my rags. I get so many of them because Tara has a lot. See, I'm by myself and my clothes, I don't wear them out. So I don't get rags a whole lot, but Tara does.
Well, the kids would outgrow stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly is what it was.
Or they wear out their socks. They get holes in their socks. I love the socks that she gives me because I use those for dust rags. I don't buy any wipes or anything like that. And, people spend so much on Clorox wipes. I think, what is the obsession with wipes and that type of thing? We didn't even have them like 20 years ago. They just were invented.
But Mom, it costs so much to do a whole load of laundry for just rags.
I don't do a lot of first of all,
seriously,
Tara and I don't totally agree on this
about
completely.
7 rags a month.
But
a week.
Yeah, I throw my rags out. I don't wash them. I have a handful of my special rags, like my one to dry off the faucet.
I throw away greasy ones.
Yeah.
I just wash the ones that I use for cleaning and stuff, though.
Yeah, and just that. But you can throw them out just like paper towels. Why are you worrying about washing them? People use the paper towels because of convenience. You can use rags for convenience too. They just think there's an unwritten rule or something. You have to wash them. I don't know why people think that.
Yeah. That's crazy. And we have a couple of videos we can, if you go search for that, I'll put it in the description below about how we cut up rags and how we use rags.
And I timed it. It took me 1 minute to cut up 1 t-shirt.
Yeah. Vita says, we are a family of 5 and my husband is strictly gluten-free. Our budget has been $300 per month for food for 5 people. It is possible.
Wow.
Yeah. 40% off our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook and our volume 1 and 2. This is the last 36 hours of the sale. It ends on Sunday.
Now, she said gluten-free. And so most people that are gluten-free say, well, I just can't spend them because I can't afford it because I'm on gluten-free. But she...
Yep. Let's see. Do we have any new recent ebooks? No, Ellen, we don't have anything new lately. I just have not had time to write anything. So let's see. Connie says, I have a grocery shopping addiction. That is my problem. She doesn't ask this question, but what do you do when you have a grocery shopping addiction?
You stop shopping for groceries.
You stop it. Just stop it.
Why do you have an addiction to it? Are you
Why?
fearful or afraid of something, and that's why you keep buying groceries? Are you using the food as a comfort, because you're stressed because you have too much debt? So twist that around. If you eat a lot because you're stressed from the debt and your financial situation, think, okay, from now on, I'm going to fix this. And I'm going to stop eating and take the food that the money I save from not eating so much, and pay it to my debt. And watch what happens. You'll not only get your debt down, but you'll lose weight on top of that, So find a way. Think, why do I do this? And then figure out, how can I fix it? It's just very simple.
LB Alexander says he or she ordered all 3 books so they don't miss a thing. Our gluten-free, our Dining on a Dime Volume 1 and our Dining on a Dime Volume 2, 40% off right now because they don't want to miss a thing. The biggest thing I've learned from you is to buy on sale and meal plan around that. Yes, such a simple but important lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saving so much before it. I would say if you only do one tip ever of anything we do, it is stop meal planning. As a matter of fact, I have a video planned for this. Stop wasting your time meal planning and shopping for meal plans. Instead, just keep your pantry full and just use what you have in your pantry.
Mm-hmm. And see, I said I spent $4 last week for groceries. What I did was there was a couple of items that were on sale, and that's what I went in and bought. Nothing else, but just what was those things that milk, and was on sale. And so that's what I got.
Are you doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not. I go to the bathroom.
You want to go while I answer the next question.
Hold on. We're going to ask this question. So repeat the question. I got to go to the bathroom.
I can't see.
Hold on. Ellen wants to know, how do you pay for property taxes on the house you just bought? Now, hold on. Let me get out of shot and then repeat the question and answer it. Okay.
How do I pay for property taxes on the house I just bought? Well, first of all, I wouldn't have bought a house quite this expensive, except for, I paid cash for my house and got it all and paid for it. But I would have bought something less if I thought I couldn't afford the property taxes. But because I got my widow's benefits 2 years ago when my husband passed away, I had enough money extra because of that I can afford to pay for the extra property taxes. That's why, that's how I can do it. Okay, Tara, are you done? I got finished with the question. I don't know what the next one is. She's going to shoot me. I'm going to go on to the next question. Okay, you guys hang in there. But see, now the thing is, I would have taken and bought much cheaper one. You may enter. A cheaper house to compensate for the property taxes. But because I knew I had the money and I could do it, and I have enough in savings now that I can do it, I went ahead and bought it. If in, say, a year I lose my money or something, I'll just sell my house and get something cheaper. So, or I'll move back to Kansas. I'm done. Skip the back to Kansas part.
Okay, so you keep referring to your husband. Are you divorced or are you not divorced?
What am I?
You're divorced.
I am, but I'm also a widow, sort of.
No, you get widow's benefits, but
do.
You're divorced.
I am divorced, yeah. My husband left us, 40 years ago or something, so.
But when you're divorced and you don't remarry, if your ex-husband dies, you get widow's benefits. Mm-hmm. Ellen says, I had a wise professor who told me when you buy a used car, expect an expensive repair within a year. Work that into the price you pay for the vehicle. So that's not really true. I mean, they can say that, but I understand what they're saying. Just make sure you have enough money for repairs if you need it. But it is still significantly, we're talking thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars cheaper to buy a used car and have to replace the engine and transmission if you had to, than to buy a brand new car for $40,000 in the end, which we had to do one time with a $3,000 car that was gifted to us that we didn't really want, but we accepted it. And the engine and the transmission both went out in the first 3 months. That is the only time of the 15 or so used cars that we've had since we've been married in 28 years that has ever had that issue, though. So it's, yes, the point of that is to save up money to have for repairs. But to say that every used car is going to have an issue is just not true.
And to put this in perspective, I'm trying to calculate in my mind, and I think I've got this down. For if you paid $30,000 for a new car, just what you paid in interest is just the interest that you paid on that $30,000 car is more. The interest is more than what I have paid for a used car all my life.
Yes.
So put that in perspective. The interest, I'm not talking about even the $30,000 and the payment. I'm talking of the interest. And I have not, and one thing you don't realize, people buy a new car with the idea, I've got a warranty on it, and so I don't have to make any car repairs. You've got to get this out of your head, because those warranties, they're smart when they do those warranties. And I've known people, first year they had a brand new car, and guess what? Their electrical went out. And they had to pay for it themselves. It's not covered in the warranty. I knew another thing where all the windows going up and down went out. They had to pay for that themselves. You have to pay for a new battery. If your battery gets old or something happens to it, you have to pay for new tires. You have to pay for things like that. And people don't realize that. So you're paying for all of those things on top of a car payment and a higher tag and interest and higher insurance. And the thing is, those are the things that brakes is another thing you usually have to pay for. And those are the types of things that I own. The only things that I get for my used cars usually is like a battery. I need to get a new battery, or I need to get the brakes fixed, something like that. Those are things people with new cars have to pay for. So, you're paying for that stuff too, and you're paying for it, like I said.
Yep.
So you really don't fall for that stuff. People are so brainwashed with these types of things. You've got to, don't just tell what people say to you on this stuff. Look it up yourself. Look it up yourself and figure it out.
Yep. Okay. Hold it. Got a center. Okay.
Were you cutting me off?
No, it's cutting me off.
Oh.
Where did we grow up that we pronounced the word wash? I also knew a lady that did that. I grew up in Kansas, so that's where I get it.
I grew up all over the country.
I guess I got it from Mom. I don't know where Mom got it from. Although, yeah, I don't know where we got it from. But anyway, Mom should not be shoveling. She needs a big Bertha. She just needs a little Bertha is all she got. As a matter of fact, we were discussing that today. So
the guys, the guys, I thought the minute I say I was out there shoveling, that's the first time I've shoveled for a while.
We send the boys over. They
always send the boys over. Or Tara's shoveled for me, or Mike shoveled, so.
Tammy says, so foreign that people have thermostats. She's in Australia. Most of the houses I've lived in don't even have air cons.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bonnie says, I've heard turning the heat and air off and on uses more electricity than setting a good temp. We should actually test that. We should set your temperature in January at 65 or whatever.
I did.
And leave it. No, so we have real test results. And then in February, have you turn it off and on and see how it varies. But
that's why I turn it off and on, because when I was in Kansas, I thought, okay, everybody kept saying this, that you need to leave it at an even temperature. And I did test it out, and my bill was way, way higher. So that's why I'm so confident about
I would
what
like
I'm
to
doing.
see the actual numbers, though. I would find that interesting to see what they, how much it either saves or doesn't save. Let's see. Okay. internet. Let's see. We already talked about that. Yeah, a lot of this, if you guys want to watch our Pity Pinch and Mama series, we have a whole series of videos that we did when we first started coming back to YouTube. And it's Mom's Penny Pinch and Mama series.
Just go to
yeah.
the search bar on our videos and type that in.
Yeah. Ellen says, since we paid off our $120,000 worth of debt, I have way less tolerance for whiners who say they can't do it. Thank you. You see where Mom and I are coming from.
Yeah, very good.
It's like, don't tell me you can't do it. You can do it. And remember, Ellen?
I remember when Ellen first started.
This has been, what, 3 years, I think?
Yeah,
Ellen?
I remember.
I got on Ellen several times, actually. Ellen was not happy with me. And I have to tell you, I am so proud of you for sticking it through and actually doing it. And you guys made it to the end. And I think that's
we've got
great.
people that have been with us for a while and they've done it. And you know what? I love to hear the sound in their comments, the excitement and the
Ellen's
joy and the
tone
peace.
of voice is totally different now than it was 3 years ago.
Totally changed. And it's understandable when you're under that much pressure and stress, you know, being in debt. It really changes you all the way around when you get out of that debt.
Bonnie wants to know, when we order the books, is there a code to get 40% off our Christmas sale, Black Friday sale that ends tomorrow? No, they are just marked down. So you can just enter them in and they're marked down. Our ebooks are 50% off. Our planners, which Mom and I are going to get next week, are not on sale because they are printed here in the United States. But we have those. They are almost ready. They told me today we should be able to get them next week. Muddy Mississippi says, since watching all of our videos, we have gotten all of our utilities down at 2 houses. Good for you.
Oh, very good.
Good for you. Mike, can you send me the next load, please?
Oh, these are such sweet comments.
Yes.
I wish we'd started with these. These are encouraging.
Mother, have a system?
Oh, you've got the system. I forgot the system.
I have a system.
I broke out of the system. Sorry.
Actually, for you guys wondering, we're trying a new editing process. So just make it easier on my editors later, we're trying something different. But it's a system. We have to stay on the system.
As if that's going to work for us. Never works for us.
Georgia says, I open the blinds so the sun heats up the house, and I close the blinds at sunset to keep the heat in.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is, I'm very sorry. That is a really good way to do that. It keeps, and if you can buy, and this is another tip when buying a house, buy a house facing the south with a big window, and that will save a ton on your utilities. My grandmother's old house, it faced south, and they had a big bay window, and her house was roasting. Her house was like 85 degrees when it was 30
in the
out
winter.
in the winter
In Colorado.
Yeah.
It would be so hot. So take all these things, think of all these things when you go to buy a house.
Yep. Okay, I'm waiting for questions.
Now, we're giving you a lot of tips, a lot of ideas. Don't get overwhelmed with these. Like I said earlier, pick out just 1 or 2 things and try it and start working on it. You know, if it's just not buying paper towels for a month and using rags instead, or opening and closing the curtains, you know, during the day. Do those just do 1 or 2 things and see what happens and see how good it makes you feel. And then keep, you know, trying more.
Mike, can you resend it?
Well, Tara's looking for.
Can you resend it? It didn't come through.
It didn't come through.
While you're waiting for that, Jill, Esther said, I hope your car isn't still smoking and you got it fixed.
Yes, I did get my car fixed. I know a couple times I drove to Tar Mike's and I pulled up the stop sign and smoke came billowing out.
It was the radiator.
It was the radiator. I got it fixed.
So it wasn't actually smoke. It was just steam, but still. It's a little unnerving when you see stuff billowing out of your... So maybe while I'm waiting for the questions to come. What's the question, Mike?
I don't have PayPal, Venmo, etc. I would like to buy your book. How do I do it?
So the question is, these still aren't coming through. The question is, I don't have PayPal or Venmo. How do I pay for the book, you can just use a regular credit card or debit card on there, and it's say PayPal, and underneath it'll say, I refreshed it like 20 times. Underneath it'll say, pay with credit card or debit card, and you can do that. See, it's not me. So.
No idea. Maybe I could send it to your other address, I guess.
Okay, try that. But you can also send a check, Living on a Dime, P.O. Box 6837, Sheridan, Wyoming 82801. And as long as you get it sent by Monday or Tuesday, that's fine. You can also do it that way. Just make sure you put in $2 for the first book, $7 for shipping for the first book, and $2 a book after that is the shipping. And they are 40% off right now, guys. Until, let's see. Okay, here's the other questions. Holy cow, you guys are hopping today.
You're making,
oh my goodness,
making us work today.
Candace says a wood stove is good heat to the house and cook on. Yes, we lived with a wood stove for only our heat for many years. Mm-hmm. And that's how Mom was able to raise 2 teenagers on $500 a month. How did you do that?
By using the...
How did you get wood, though? If you were a single mom working 3 jobs, how did you get wood?
Well, that's, I didn't have...
Was it wood expensive?
No, I couldn't afford to buy wood. So what we did was, there was a mill on the edge of town, a wood mill, where they cut up, or they took the logs and they made it into 2x4s or whatever you want to call it. And I would go there and ask them if I could have the scrap wood. And I didn't have a pickup or anything. I just had the trunk of my car. And they said, sure. They were tickled to give it to me, because the more I took, the less they had to pay to have it hauled off. So I would take and haul it home. Then for a while, I would stick pallets, used pallets. People were getting rid of pallets all the time, and I'd put them in, and then we would cut the pallets up to use in the fireplace. Also, county extension. Sometimes they would do Christmas trees or something like that.
The city does cutting up the trees, and they'll take it to the county extension sometimes, or they will have a place where they dump their wood chips, or like here, it's at the dump where you can go get wood that the city has cut down or other people have cut down.
And one time I was out of options. We were running out of wood, and I didn't know what we were going to use, and I didn't have any money to go buy wood. And so I went to church, and this man behind me, I didn't know him very well. I knew he sat behind me in church, but I didn't know him. He tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "You've been coming to this church a little longer. Do you know of anybody that could use some firewood? I've got a whole bunch of firewood. I'll bring to them if they can use it." I was so excited. It was like a miracle to me that I got the firewood, but I never, ever once paid for firewood. Never.
Yeah. What do you think about exercise? Tracy wants to know.
Oh,
I think if you see Mom running, you need to call the police because someone is after her. That's all I'm saying about that. Oh, Mike, come get on and show. You can just do it over there if you want. Can Michael quote the Bible verse for that we all believe in? Go ahead.
Well, except for me. Yeah, there's a verse that's only the wicked flee when no one's chasing them.
That's a real Bible verse too. I don't know. It's in Proverbs somewhere.
Oh, what's so funny? I was thinking before I came over here about the exercise. I don't know why I was thinking about me exercising when I came over. I think I was thinking about how people go and pay for gym memberships, and they do. I couldn't even afford an exercise mat. You know those, what are they?
Yoga mat type things.
Yoga mat type things that they take to exercise. I couldn't have even afforded a mat to use, And I'm thinking, when people first started buying those, I thought, what are they buying them for? I just flop down on the living room floor and do a couple of sit-ups or push-ups and call it good. Now I did exercise. Well, I still do, but not really. I don't know if what you call I do. I'm just why I'm getting distracted was I got a gym membership for free one time, and I was so excited because I'd never been to a gym. And I thought, this is going to be so cool. And I was going to take an exercise class. And I walked in there. I mean, well, first of all, when I get in there, I had just like a pair of shorts, not short shorts, but just shorts on and a t-shirt. And I get in there and here's all these gals in these stretchy, color coordinated, cute little things, outfits, fancy shoes, were like running shoes. And I'm thinking, whoa, am I a little out of place? But I was not intimidated. And so I was all ready for my exercise class. And the first thing the instructor said, okay, everybody go back there in the corner and get you one of those balls and bring up here. And we're going to start our workout on the balls. And I thought, I am in big trouble. I knew I was in trouble. And so we were supposed to sit on the ball. And I sat down on this ball. I could not get set on it. I kept falling off. So she came over and helped me to get adjusted trying to sit on the ball. It wasn't real comfortable, but I did it. So then she said, okay, turn over and we're going to lay on our tummies on the ball. And that, oh my goodness, how do you lay on your tummy on a ball? And so finally, I just couldn't do it. I kept falling. I felt everybody was just floating. You know, they were doing these beautiful floating things. And here I'm rolling all over. So finally, she said, okay, now we're going to lay on our back and do some nice stretches on the ball. And I took one look at that thing and I thought, there's no way I'm laying on my back on that thing if I can't even sit on the thing. So I just quietly took my ball back into the corner and I walked out and I never went back to the gym again for anything.
So
that's my exercise.
Mom's Bible verse is Proverbs 28:1. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion.
But
and they're also out of shape.
What I do for exercise is all my life, I've never done, I've taken a couple when aerobics was a big deal. I took some exercise classes free at the church, a couple of times. But the best thing I've always found to do is if I'm waiting for spaghetti noodles to boil, I will flop down and do some push-ups. If I'm waiting for somebody to do something or with the kids to get home from school and I got 5 or 10 minutes, I'll flop down and do some leg lifts. And that's what I've always done is I just do. Now I'm doing when I'm brushing my teeth, I press my stomach in and do an exercise where I can press my stomach in, that type of thing while I'm brushing my teeth. Sometimes I remember to do it. Sometimes I forget. I did walk to the mailbox, though, 2 weeks ago. Does that count for anything?
Your mailbox is 2 blocks away, Mother.
My mom, who's 94, walks twice as far as what I do every day.
Yep.
So
Vida says, I live in expensive California and it's totally possible to live frugally even here. It also bothers me when people say it's not possible. Yep.
Very good. We love to hear when you make comments like that because it just shows that it's just excuses other people are making.
Andrew says, I tried the baking soda shampoo this week after hearing you mention it last week. So far, I'm loving it. So for those of you wondering, we are redoing that video. That was kind of my mess up. So we were backlit and Mom said, it looks like I have no hair and I'm talking about hair.
Almost a bald person here I was talking about.
Yeah, I was really tired. We have 2 new editors that were trying to get trained and I just could not function because I was like, oh my goodness, I have so much to do and I can't do any of it. I just got to get a video out. So I'm like, okay, we did the hair shampoo. Let's just get the shampoo video out. So that was my fault. So I took it down. We're refilming it. Sorry.
That's good to hear, though, that it worked for you because a lot of people are unsure about using it.
Ellen says, some people spend hundreds of dollars a month on quilting supplies. How do you do it economically, Mom?
Okay, well, first of all, people, when they find out that you do sewing, a lot of times their mom has something and she's passed away and they bring it to you. I belong to a quilt bee, which was really nice because the gals would have, they bought a lot of stuff and they would bring it and say, just take it. And all of us would just share our fabric, between each other, whoever wanted some or needed some. But the one thing, so what I started doing was the quilt guild I belonged to, they did charity quilts. And at the quilt guild, they would give you the fabric and what pattern they wanted you to make. So I kind of got my taste or the fun of doing the quilting, but I didn't have to buy the fabric for it. I would make these quilts and then they would take them back and do them for the charity. So I got to do the quilting, but I didn't have to spend much on money. That's when I say try to find things that you can do this stuff that you like to do without.
One time we had a
spending
friend
money.
who was moving, and I kid you not, she had a 4-foot by 4-foot box full of material she was getting rid of.
Mm-hmm.
She had a couple of those actually. Thrift stores here are
Yeah,
really good.
Thrift
with
stores are a
material
good place
here.
to get all kinds
You
of
can
sewing
find
stuff.
Walmart, the end of a bolt, there's a half of a yard or a yard, and they'll mark it down. Or if the fabric's going out of season, they'll mark it down. And I found last year some really nice fabric for the new house.
Yeah.
For like $1.50 a yard. And so 75 cents a yard. And so you can find it like that. So a lot of sewing supplies, upcycle, free cycles, Facebook groups, any of those types of groups are also really good. Estate sales are really good for that.
Yeah, because the kids don't know how much this fabric was. They don't know what it meant to their mom or whatever.
We just got some muslin for a bag of muslin for $1.
And there was a lot in
muslin.
there. It was muslin.
Muslin. No, sorry, we didn't get a bag of muslin.
Stuffed in it.
Sorry. No. The fabric. We got fabric for $1 a bag. I mean, how many yards was in there? There's probably 20 yards in there
at least. Yeah. So it was a good deal.
Tamara says, we left Colorado and moved to Oklahoma. It's less expensive. I'm retired, but my husband still works. In 8 years, we'll both be retired. We have always lived frugally, and these decisions are why we have a comfortable life now. Yes, exactly.
And that's one thing too. Most of you are, if you're watching this, probably on Social Security, but if there's a few that aren't, you need to start in your 30s and 40s and getting those houses paid off and get those debts out of those debts, because people get to Social Security and they say, now what do I do? How do I live off what I have? Well, you should have maybe started like 30 years ago or so trying to take care of this, because it gets fast.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's fine.
Cindy says, Tara, are these household cleaners in your books? Yes. Dining on a Dime Volume 1 and Volume 2 have a complete section chapter all of their own just on cleaning and health and beauty and kids. All of those are in the books. 40% off right now. 36 hours left, guys. I'm just letting you know, because every single time somebody says, I missed the sale. So we're letting you know that the sale, but the cleaners are in our Volume 1 and Volume 2 cookbooks. And
we do have in the ebooks too.
Yes, laundry. And in our ebooks, we have our cleaning series, and that we're going to be featuring in January. But we have our cleaning ebooks also. There's Jack, Mr. Handsome.
I know, my handsome.
Okay. Which friend are you saying hi to?
No one.
Oh, no one. Jack's friends get on there and they say, Jack, go get on the show and wave to us. So when you do, what do you do? Show them how you wave when you do. Show them what you do. Yeah.
I got the best grandkids in the whole wide world, I'm sure.
So yes, the books are have all of the cleaning products in there. You can get them at livingonadime.com and check out our Cleaning Sense ebook set.
Like the laundry ebook and that, we have stuff in there like the laundry detergent, how to make your own spray starch, scented water, the linen water, the scented water that people like to use when ironing this stuff. So we have a lot of things you wouldn't expect.
Yep. Does Jill get royalty from the books? Yes, she does.
Up until I moved here, what I had the kids do was they put it in savings from a nursing home.
But Mom gets royalties for the books, guys. All of these tips that we are sharing about living on $750 a month, this is when she did it, but she still lives frugally on that. I mean, basically that amount, because the $600 for her Medicare premium is higher. And so it's not quite a month. She's like, $1,100 a month or something. And everything else she puts into savings. So if she needs a new car or something like that, all of that. Yeah, we're going next week.
Put me in the pick it out nursing home for me.
But so that's, yes.
But I don't
she does.
live off of anything.
Yeah, but she does not live off of the
Mm-mm.
royalties. She lives off of her widow's benefits that she gets from my dad.
Yeah.
Dana Marie says, why is your water bill so low? Or how do you keep your water bill so low? If you don't mind me asking, how often do you bathe? About once every 6 months. And how many loads of clothes do you do? Do you wash a week? She washes about once a year.
I think part of it is like in the summer, Tara gets so mad at me because I don't water. I figured out, and even here, it made a difference. My water bill went up about $10. When I was in Wichita, it went up $10 a month watering my grass. And then here I found out I have a sprinkler system I was excited to use, but it cost me quite a bit just to have that thing blown out, and that type of thing. So I'm not doing the grass as much. That really saves a lot in the summer. I take a shower twice a week, and I wash my hair twice a week, And so that saves, and my showers, I think, it's not so much how often, it's how long my showers are. I don't ever spend 5 minutes in a shower. I'm in there, I soap it down from top to bottom and rinse it out, and I'm done. It really doesn't take me any longer than that to take a shower. In the winter, I do it very quickly because the house is cooler, but I think that's part of it, is not to run the shower so long. The other thing, what was the other question about for shower and
laundry? How much laundry do you do?
I am careful on my laundry. Now, I change my undies every day and socks and that type of thing. But my jeans, now I'm not out doing a lot of physical hard labor usually out in the garden or doing stuff like that. So my jeans I can go at least a week, maybe even 10 days.
I wear my pants at least a week, and my shirts go 3 or 4 days when I'm not doing dirty stuff.
Yeah, when I'm not doing dirty stuff. So that's just like, one outfit a week. So if you think about that, that's just 4 tops a month and maybe 3 pairs of jeans a month. So I don't have to do that much laundry. Now I do wash my sheets, and how I do that is I have dark sheets and I have light sheets. So if I'm throwing in my dark 4 tops and jeans, I will take and throw in my sheets for that time amount, and if I'm doing my light clothes, so I do a load of each color about every 3 weeks, maybe, or so. So that's about three loads
now,
a month or week. Yeah,
I want to say something on the watering the yard.
Gets her goats.
This is why I keep hollering at her to water her yard, because she's coming from Kansas where it rains and there's humidity, to Wyoming where it's a dry climate. And it is very important for you to water your yard in a dry climate, because it will crack your foundation when the soil pulls away from your house. Yes, it will. And it will crack your patio when it pulls away from, when your soil dries up so bad. Ask those people in Texas. Somebody in Texas, I know, this fall or this summer had this problem happen. I know you did, because you were emailing me. So this is why I holler at her to water her yard.
I did try to water, because
it's going to cost me more in the long run to fix her foundation and her
you're
patio.
Gonna fix my foundation.
Yes, when you're done and I have to sell the house, then I'm going to have to fix it.
You're going to lose money on it.
So because you want to say, you're not even, and see, this is the other thing. She's not even using her minimum $2,000 or her minimum 2,000 gallons a month for water. She's not even using the minimum. That's why I get mad at her about it.
And her soil's already pulled away from the house.
Yeah, and her soil's already pulling away from the house.
It was pulled away before I moved in.
Somebody is going to be saying that. Somebody's going to be saying it. I know. I
did water, though, this summer. She didn't believe me that I watered, but I did water.
She doesn't water enough. I know, because I can see the grass.
Can you tell this is a bone of contention?
When Jack only has to mow every 3 weeks, I can't afford to pay to have it mowed every 3 weeks. It is your grandson. You do not have to see what I have to put up with. You guys don't know what really goes on. This is what really goes on. Jack and Dave are more than happy to mow, But
Nan has to give him a
no,
little
you
bit.
do not.
She's not a grandma yet. She doesn't understand these things.
All right.
I knew that was going to get her goat.
Because I'm the one that's going to have to deal with a cracked foundation when you croak and I got to sell the house.
It won't be too bad because I'm going to croak before. I don't have much longer to live. Do you know that?
I'm going to go before you at this rate. All right. This is our gluten-free edition, which is volume 1 turned into a gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook because I'm on a gluten-free, dairy-free diet. And everybody kept asking me. So I took my Dining on a White Dime cookbook volume 1, turned it into a gluten-free, dairy-free edition. The difference between volume 1 and volume 2, and all of these are 40% off right now, guys. The last 36 hours of our sale, it ends tomorrow. They are 2 totally different books. This is our first one and this is our second one. This is, if you have to start with one, start with this one. This is just all the recipes that we couldn't fit in here. We put in here and wrote it later. So that's all the difference is. So
waiting for you to hit me in the head with the book.
Well, I may have to knock some sense into you.
You're going to get in so much trouble. Our viewers, they're going to jump
They're
on
not
there.
the ones having to sell your house with a cracked foundation.
She does not trust that I'm older and wiser than her.
Okay. Who has the beautiful yard and flowers? I'm just saying, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to my gardening. That's all I'm saying.
Oh dear.
Mirjana, I don't know how you say your name. I'm so sorry. Hello, I live in Serbia. Oh my goodness. And used to live and work in America for several months. I understand and agree with a lot of the things you have said. What's funny is, do you know why immigrants are so rich when they come over here? Because they have to live in poverty conditions. And in America, even the poverty people are 100 times richer than a lot of the immigrants that come here in the first place. And they know how to work their buns off, 2 jobs for 10 years.
The stuff they do have and know how to use it wisely.
Our great-grandfather, my great-grandfather, Mom's grandfather, was an immigrant from Greece. And he was filthy, stinking rich until the Depression hit because he came over and he worked his buns off with several jobs and lived as if he was in poverty and then was able to get all that money saved up until the Depression hit. Now, when the Depression hit, he lost it along with everyone else. But that's why you see immigrants, they start stores, they start businesses because they know that's how they're going to make money.
They're careful with their money and they use it, wisely and everything. And, it just went out of my head what I was going to say about that. I know for years, many, many years, I wasn't on welfare, but the people that were on welfare was making more money, receiving more money than what I was, working and everything. And yet that's why we don't have patience with people that are whining, that come and whine, because there's so many people that come from other countries and they think they're millionaires if they just have a middle class job type thing, so.
Yep. Oh man, I don't know if we're going to be able to get it through all these guys. Good grief. You guys are hopping tonight. Barb says, I live on Social Security and I have no debt. 20 years ago, I had $30,000 in credit card debt. I got myself out of debt by buying only needs instead of wants. It was hard at first, but now it's my lifestyle and I've never been happier. Jill and Tara, you have helped me so much. Thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, hi, Barb.
That's what it boils down to. Stop spending money you don't have. If you can't pay cash for it, I use credit cards. I'm okay with credit cards, but guess what? I don't use my credit card unless I have the money in the bank to pay it off at the end of the month. I use credit cards for convenience, for warranties, for returning things. I do not use it, and I don't spend more on my credit cards. I know I'm only going to go in and spend $20 on a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
If I find a really good deal on a pair of shoes and they're on clearance for $5, I'll go buy 2 pairs for the boys, one for now and the next size up. But I don't go and just spend and just buy what I want.
Yeah. And see, that's controlling your money. That's what's different between a budget and controlling your money. We teach controlling your money. Budgets don't work most of the time for people. A few, do okay on a budget, but it's their personality. But the majority of people, you just have to learn how to control your money and have control of those credit cards and control of the debt and, or not have any at all. And if you do have control of your money, you probably won't have debt.
Yeah. Christy says, I live very frugal and will be debt-free in about 2 years. After that, I plan to put a lot into saving. All my family who think I'm so poor might get a surprise at the reading of my will.
That's good. I love that.
It happens a lot. But that's why you see all these millionaires and you don't even know they're millionaires. Their net worth is really super high, but it's because they do that. It's because I go and buy the $1 shirt at the thrift store. It's because I buy the $1 pair of pants at the thrift store. So and that's how you become a millionaire. I just love you guys. CS or GS says, so many people have such negative reaction to things they can't do. That's why I love y'all so much. It's almost like having conversation with myself.
That's good.
Oh, that's very funny. I like that. Oh, wow. Julie says, I used to go to the nail salon every 6 weeks and have done it for 6 months. Saves me a lot of money. I do my own nails. There you go.
Yes.
Very good. Have you thought about doing seminars at churches? We have actually done them before, but we reach more people this way and we can help more people this way, and it's not as physically taxing on us.
Yeah. See, physically, it's hard for us to do those types of things.
Yep. Let's see. Tara, instead of mouthwash, what works just as well? Salt water works really good. Hydrogen peroxide swishing works really good.
Use half water, half peroxide mixed together.
Yeah, you can use those.
And that's one of those things, if you're prepping too, peroxide, you don't need to do mouthwash. You can use the peroxide.
But do you need mouthwash?
I don't think
some people think so, but do you actually need it?
No.
Make sure you actually need it.
Yeah.
So, let's see. LB, I believe everything you are saying because you would have to live through it to be the experts to make this content. You teach me so much from your experience. Well, thank you. Everybody says, well, what makes you an expert? Because I lived through it. Believe me, it's cold when you're only heating with wood in 3 rooms in your house growing up. Mm-hmm. And you can do it. That's, I think, the biggest thing that people are at a disadvantage now as far as prepping is we have lived such a comfortable life for the last 70 years that the majority of people have no idea what it's like to truly be cold, truly be hungry, and to truly be destitute or complete poverty stricken. And so I think that's the biggest problem that we have with our culture. And that's the biggest problem that we're going to have when things really get bad.
And if you start practicing it now, and preparing for it now, it'll be much, much easier then for you.
Yeah. I'm confused. If you throw out rags, why not buy paper towels? Because the rags are free.
The rags are free. Yeah. It's old shirts that are stained and you can't wear anymore. You're going to throw them out anyway. Mm-hmm. So why not use those instead of going and paying for paper towels? The rags are free.
You don't throw them all away.
But here's the thing. I don't throw them all away. What I do is I use about 7 rags for cleaning a week, 7 or 8 rags for cleaning a week.
Like the bathroom,
the toilets, those kinds of things. Windows, whatever. I don't even think I use 7. I probably use 3 or 4 actually, because I only clean twice a week. So I maybe use 4 rags a week. And then I use a wash rag and hand towels. And everybody says, oh, the amount of laundry, it's going to just be more than the cost of paper towels. I am not exaggerating between using hand towels, wash rags for washing our bodies and washing our dishes, and then rags for cleaning. My pile is about this big in my washer every 2 weeks. That's it. It's you get a fresh wash rag every day, and then I get a fresh hand towel about every 2 or 3 days, or if we have a spill or something. But I really don't. I wash every 2 weeks. I wash 5 to 6 hand towels, 5 to 6 rags, and then about 6 to 10 wash rags. Because some days I forget to change out the wash rag. But it's my pile really is about this big, and that's for 4 people. So you can just imagine one person.
Yeah, we've got a thing on rags actually on the website. I wrote a big long article on different types of rags, how to wash them, what ones not to wash, what ones to just throw away. Because, for example, the socks with big old holes in them that I was talking about from the boys that Tara gives me, those are perfect. I take one sock and I can dust my whole house with that one sock, and I just throw it in the trash. And so those I would not wash. Then if I have oil that's spilt on my kitchen floor,
I'll throw them away for that.
I'll take a t-shirt rag and wipe that up, and that'll get thrown away. Now, I wash my bathroom sink with a rag, and that one I use the disinfectant cleaner and all that. So those ones I will wash the rag in the bath, or the sink in the bathtub in the bathroom, and those I'll rewash because I'm using disinfectant, and then I just wash them with the whites and Clorox. But for my toilet, I will use a t-shirt type rag and wash the toilet down, and that goes in the trash. If I'm mopping the floor, I'll take in the bathroom, I will take a rag that I will trash, so I have a whole thing on the website of how to do these different rags. So I wash a couple of them, but not very many. That's why people like buying paper towels, because they can throw them away. Well, you can, if you want to, throw all of your rags away if you want to.
Yeah, and thrift stores all the time.
Oh,
you can, if you don't have family members that have rags. Here at the thrift store, I was just there today. They said you can get a bag of rags like this big. I mean, there's probably 50 cotton t-shirts in there, and they call them cotton rags for $2. Well, my goodness, you could get 200 300 rags out of that probably.
Yeah, I cut up a t-shirt the other day, and not the other day, it was like 3 weeks ago, and I've only used half of that t-shirt so far in 3 weeks time. So that'll last you, a long time. And I've been doing a lot of cleaning lately.
D. Parker says taxes are why smart Hawaiians don't live in Hawaii. That's why smart Coloradoans moved to Wyoming.
But not to Sheridan.
Not to Sheridan. You can move anywhere else you want. But we will wave to you, D. Parker, as we are driving through next week. Tanya, I live in a wonderful neighborhood, but my house needs repairs. I want to be able to decide what repairs to do, or just pay off the house first and repair later. So for that, you need to decide, are the repairs, by not doing the repairs, is it going to cause damage
to the house
and be more expensive later? Or is it just like cosmetic type things that's not going to really matter? Then I would pay your house off first if it's just cosmetic. But if it's like the roof is leaking, I would get that fixed first, because then you're going to be more in debt or cost you more by having to fix something that's leaking and causing more damage. So that's what I would do. Jill, you are incredible, Karen says. If she would water her yard.
I have to hassle her for hollering at me.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Okay, let's see if I can get through here real quick. Holy cow. Let's see. Karen says, I want to take you shopping, Jill. My treat. She wouldn't buy anything.
Because I don't think, it's like I don't know what I really need. It's actually, I've lived this way so long, it's actually hard for me just to spend money. Because
I will tell you, I holler at her all the time.
Yeah, she tries to get me by, and I do buy sometimes,
Yep.
but
All right, guys, our 40% off Christmas sale, 99 Dime Cookbooks, 40% off for 36 more hours, guys. We only have 36 hours left for this sale. Only goes on twice a year, Christmas and Mother's Day. So 40% off right now, or if we move, and we're not planning on moving. You can get all of those. Also, our planners, which everyone's been asking for, half sold out. We are going to get them next week. The printer is going to be done with them. So if you order now, they will be in next week. Shelly wants to know who pays for cables these days. Mike and I don't.
I know.
I'm
Like I
paying for
said,
it.
the only reason I do have the cable was it was only going to save me like $10 or $15 because my other stuff would go up higher because I've got the bundle thing.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, but your internet and your phone won't go up. I mean, you're paying like $150 for all three now, and so it would be like $100 for your phone and your internet. Then
it would be more like $130 or so, is what it would do because I wouldn't have the same plan.
But you would still be saving $20 by not using the internet.
But I don't have a what is it? What do they use now? DVD?
A Roku, but you don't need. But you watch everything on the computer anyway.
I do a lot. I watch some on TV though.
Well, we got an extra.
So I don't have I'd have to buy the extra whatevers they do.
D. Parker says Island Hawaiians save dollars by living in a family compound. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Which is probably what we're going to have one day. Okay, let's see. Karen, Jill is not part B. I sent the question. Hopefully they'll get it.
Oh, I said that.
Oh, never mind.
The $600 a month thing they were asking about because she was saying, well, the part B I thought was only $100.
Oh, okay. They were asking about Mom's $600 a month stuff for that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. D. Parker got 1960 huge toilet rolls, bought it in a estate sale.
Wow.
Oh my.
Oh, you guys remember the colored toilet paper and when it was scented?
Yep.
Oh, I love that colored toilet paper.
Yep. Yes, and Lisa, Mom does tithe. So off of that $750 a month, Mom does tithe for her Social Security. 10% automatically she always gives for that. So let's see. We are going to do the baking soda shampoo video again, guys, for you. Okay. We are just not going to be able to get through all these. So what we'll do is we'll take the rest of your questions and we will save them. And Mom and I will sit down and answer them in a video and in videos and get you guys on those. Don't forget, our sale ends tomorrow night. Our 40% off, guys, all of our print books, 50% all of our ebooks, and our planners are going to be done next week. These are not on sale because they are printed here in the United States. Mom and I are going to go get them and go see Grandma and my kids before one moves. And then that's it. So visit us at Living on a Dime.
Asked us about when we're going to do a Bible thing next.
Oh, and next Wednesday we are doing Is Christian a Pagan Holiday? And how as Christians do we dare celebrate Christmas?
So if you have
It's Christmas
Bible
a pagan
questions and
holiday.
stuff on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We just
we're
haven't
gonna
because
answer
we're
those.
doing the sale on the books now.
Yeah.
And
So we're doing that on Wednesday. Is Christmas a pagan holiday is what we're going to be talking about because we get that a lot.
Or any other questions you guys have.
And we got an answer for you.
Oh, dear.
So just get ready to start banning deer.
All
All right. LivingOnADime.com. We will see you guys.
Bye-bye,
next time.
guys.
Bye.